Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Just want to welcome everyone to the Cobank Rural Hunger Grant Competition Info Session. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Schnarr, and I'm the Expansion and Partnerships Manager for the Campus Kitchens Project. First of all, again, just want to thank you all so much for all the hard work that you've already put into this effort. We're really excited to get this video competition started in just a couple weeks. We hope you all are also really excited. I think it's really great to foster a healthy sense of competition leading up to the competition. I want us all to still remember that we will hopefully all be part of the CKP network very soon, which is super exciting for everyone, really, regardless of the outcomes. So this webinar has a couple purposes. One is to make sure that everyone is clear on how the competition will work. We will just go over all the logistics of the timeline and how to vote and really everything you need to know. And the other important part of this webinar will be to help prepare you for getting out the vote and making sure that you're utilizing all of your outlets to reach your audiences. And for that portion, I'm going to bring in my colleague Tyler, who does all of our social media and communications. You'll hear from her in just a little bit. But before we get started, I want to take a little bit of time, just a moment, to recognize our amazing sponsor for this grant competition, which is Cobank. Their commitment to not only ending rural hunger across the country, but also finding really sustainable solutions is really inspiring, and we're really excited and proud to be able to work with them again and to provide these grants for you all. So let's talk a little bit just about the basics of the competition, so make sure we're all on the same page. And I'm sure most of you know this already, but the competition will begin when we post your videos on our voting page Monday, November 7th at noon Eastern Standard Time. So everyone will be able to start to view and vote for your videos at that time, and then the competition will run the entire week until the following Monday, the 14th, and voting will close at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on the 14th. And the winners will also be announced that same day. The main page for voting, and where you're going to find the leaderboard of all the schools with all the votes, is www.campuskitchens.org/Cobank-2, which you see on the screen, which we're going to send you all this information later, so you don't feel like you need to remember it now. You're also each going to receive a personalized voting page that is a site that is a direct link just to your video and a voting button. Either of these are great to send out to the people that are going to vote, but this other link will be sent just with your video. And you can see there that that link will have your school name in it, and we're going to send you that on the 31st, if not before. So quickly, I just want to jump to what the page looks like. So you can see here that the voting page will have some information on the top. It'll have the leaderboard here with all the schools that are competing. Here are just some samples. And then to the right, we'll have the tallied votes of each school. And then below, we'll have the list of all the videos, which when you refresh the page, the videos repopulate in a random order. So this is just the major voting page that you can see, and then you can see each. Also, if you click on an individual video, you'll see that that page just has their video on it. So let's keep going here and talk a little bit just about some of the video basics. So I know most of you some of you already submitted your videos, but for everyone else, the video will be due on October 31st. Unless we've already talked about an extension. There's a few folks that need a few more days, which is fine as long as you keep me in the loop. So let's shoot for the 31st, but please let me know if you foresee needing a little bit more time into that following week before the competition to get everything put together. Just a side note, when you're submitting your video, we need the actual video file. So we need the file that you'd be uploading to YouTube, not just a YouTube link. So an MP4, a Windows Media Player, an iMovie file. And since those files are typically pretty big, we're going to need, or would prefer if you would share that file with the ckpnational@gmail.com, either via Google Drive or through a Dropbox or other file sharing mechanism. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how to actually vote, which is really important to remember this as you're spreading the word about the competition to your campus and your community, that the only way to vote for your video is to have it count towards your leaderboard is to click on the gray and orange Vote Now button. It's either at the top or the bottom of your video, depending on what screen you're looking at. So if anyone's voting from the main voting page with the leaderboard, it's going to look like this with that orange and gray button on the top right. And then if you're voting from your individual page, you can see that that same button is on the bottom right. So let's just jump really quickly to see how to actually vote. So again here, let's go back to the main page. and you see that this button here, you'll just click now, vote now, which I've actually already done today. So you can see that it says you can vote after 1 day, but if I hadn't voted already, it would have tallied that vote for the day, and you can do that for any of these, any of the videos you choose. And it's really simple. Same if you went to an individual page, you could just click the vote now button, and you can vote again after 1 day, and your vote will be tallied. So another really thing to talk about now is how not to vote. This is really important to stress to all of your audiences. That really the only way you'll be able to vote again is just by clicking the Vote Now button on your video. If you click, perhaps maybe if someone clicks the like button below the video for Facebook, or if you tweet it, or if you actually go in and like the actual YouTube video, none of those will actually count towards your leaderboard. So make sure that you're very clear with your audience that they need to click that Vote Now button to get their vote tallied. Obviously, we do want to encourage folks to post and tweet and share about them voting for your video and about the competition, but that is not the way that they can actually have their vote tallied. And Tyler will talk a bit more about how to engage folks via social media, especially on some of our social sharing buttons we have on each video. So again, remember, just that Vote Now button and not anything else on that page is going to help you get votes for your video. All right, let's talk a little bit about the voting rules. So the main thing you need to know about how this competition works when you're promoting your video is that our voting system limits 1 vote per person per IP address per day. So what that means is a person can vote from either the same computer or device or phone only once per 24-hour period. So basically, one person can vote 7 times per device they have throughout the competition. The only issue you might run into, and the only issue we've run into in the past, if you're trying to vote from a group of computers that share one IP address, say in a computer lab or a library on campus, that computer might say, even if it's a different person, that you've already voted, or that whole lab might think that every computer has voted if it shares that IP address. But know that this limitation, while it's really not ideal, is the same for everyone participating. So if you run into this issue on your campus, I encourage you to tell people to start voting with their smartphones or on a tablet that shares a different IP address from maybe that lab. Again, I want to reiterate that while this is a competition, we all should remember that at some point we're all going to be part of the CKP family, and so any form of cheating will be grounds for disqualification. You are prohibited from obtaining votes by any fraudulent or inappropriate means. That's including anything like offering prizes or other incentives to prospective voters. And as we monitor the votes received from an IP address in excess or more than 7 times will be voided. And also the use of any kind of script or macro or any kind of robotic or automated system to get votes with the intent to impair the voting process is prohibited, and all those votes will be voided. So let's just try to keep this as clean as possible, which I'm sure you won't have any problems. You all are going to be receiving sample tweets and posts that you can use not only to get out the vote and get folks to promote the competition for you. So each of you are receiving some customized tweets and posts with your school tagged, with the link to the voting site, and with our hashtag, which you can see some examples here. You should be receiving those from Tyler along with some customized images, like you can see on the screen here, by next Monday the 31st. So be on the lookout for those. There's going to be a variation, lots of different variations of different posts that you can use both for your own social media accounts, but also to promote within your own school to pass along to organizations, other departments, faculty, staff, students. You can pass along, hey, here are some great ways to help promote our video and not only just vote, but also help promote it to their audiences as well. Some other great things to think about here in terms of outreach. What you can really start doing now is reaching out to all your networks that you have at your school. So various departments, alumni, sports teams, organizations, student orgs. You can, again, like I said, give them these sample posts and empower them to really share them with all of their audiences. It's great to engage with as many groups on campus as possible, and we've had folks in the past, having their football team or football coach tweeting about it, having their president tweet about it, having various professors and students tweet about it. It really gets a lot of energy behind this movement. Another thing you can do is try to see if you can get into a campus newsletter or a campus email blast. Many schools have weekly or daily emails that go out to their entire campus. So that's a great way if you can include, ideally every day of the week of the competition, a link that students can go in and easily vote for your video. It's a good way to engage the entire campus. You might also want to think of other ways that you can kind of get at that larger campus body. You might see if it's even possible to get something on your school's website or get your school to post or tweet about it themselves, which has a really large audience. So think about some of your larger audiences and also think about your community and who you can reach out to and which organizations and associations or that might be willing to promote and vote for your video. I would say in general, getting in touch with your school's media team or PR department is really important to do now because they can also help with outreach because they run all the social media and communication channels for your school. And then something you can do during the competition is obviously target your social media outreach to tweet at clubs, organizations, people in your community and beyond to get them to vote as many times as they can throughout the competition. We've also seen a lot of success with kind of in-person outreach, so maybe tabling at on your campus to get people to vote, or even going into and speaking with clubs or classes. So getting the permission of a professor or a faculty to come into a meeting or to come into a class, and the beginning of class can ask for everyone to pull out their phones if possible, and everyone in the class to vote, get online and vote for your video. It's a great way to get votes each day. So there's lots of great things. You really should think big in terms of engaging your current students, alumni, faculty, staff, and community members to get out and vote. One thing I will say really quick is we also have some built-in social share buttons. So you can see here that if you actually on the main page and on each video page, you can encourage folks to share on Facebook, which pre-generates link to this page. You can also tell them to tweet about this, which pre-generates a tweet that tags our funder, tags Campus Kitchens, and tags your school. These are just examples, and the hashtag. So these are great ways you can encourage folks to directly tweet and share on their own social media after they vote for your video. We will also be highlighting each school throughout the week. So you'll also, on the 31st, when we send out your sample tweets, we will be letting you know which day of the week we'll be highlighting your school from all of our social media channels. So keep an lookout for that as well. And then to quickly talk about some of the prizes. So we'll have 3 grantees that will each receive $5,000 grants, and they're payable in increments of 4. So I'm going to quickly go over these installments. So the first installment is $1,500, which you receive as soon as you complete the competition and sign our contract. And this is designated traditionally for what we call a planning fellow, but has probably the most flexibility out of any of the installments. The rationale behind a planning fellow is that since these competitions are designed for schools to have up to 6 months to complete the rest of the planning of their campus kitchen, and we found that it's best to have a main advocate or a main student that's really in charge of completing the rest of the logistics. So if you have a key student that you would like to basically hire as the planning fellow and be able to receive a small stipend for that, you can use some or all of this for that. If you don't need a stipend for your students, or you have already a committed leadership team or other staff that are on board, we can talk individually about how you can best, what you might need first to use this funding for. The next installment is for $800, and that's going to be issued specifically for when you're getting close to your launch and you need to start purchasing equipment and supplies. You might not need to use all of it, but many campus kitchens have some one-time expenses for some disposable materials or hard materials, or even some equipment or larger equipment they might need to start off their campus kitchen. So that's what this $800 is for, earmarked for supplies and equipment. The third installment is $1,200, which is an in-kind installment, meaning that this is going to fund your site visit and personal training. So we have, once you're ready to actually launch, we'll send one of our Campus Kitchen national staff to your school for 1 or 2 days to do an in-person training, help with the launch, see all of your operations, and train you on all of our safety paperwork and anything else you'll need to make sure you're really able to hit the ground running. The final installment after you've completed the launch will be the $1,500, but also anything we don't use from that $1,200 in terms of in-kind, you'll receive the remainder of that after the launch is complete. So that that'll be lumped in with the final $1,500. And that final $1,500 can be used for anything in just the general sustainability and long-term overall financial stability of your campus kitchen. So lastly, I just want you all to remember to really keep up this momentum that you've built over the last few weeks or months as you prepare for this competition. The money is clearly a driving factor, but the competition itself is also really one of the best ways to get your name out there on campus and really use this to push and let people know about what your campus kitchen is going to be, because you realize you're going to be talking to your future volunteer base, your future leadership team members, future donors, and all these people are going to be engaged with this competition. So I would say once you've completed the competition, it's really important to also set a launch date and stick to it. Remember that you do have 6 months if you receive a grant to launch your campus kitchens. That's any time before May 30th, 2017. But you can obviously launch any time before then. But I think it's really important to set a launch date right away and have your team work towards that to keep up this energy and momentum from the competition. I know that one thing to also remember is that if you don't get one of these 3 grants, you can and hopefully will still launch your campus kitchen because you've really put in a lot of work already. And in fact, every single school that has participated in one of our competitions in the past, whether they've won or not, have still ended up launching their campus kitchen because they have so much great support from the competition itself. And in fact, we've been able to often work with other schools to find alternative funding methods and be able to work with the school and the community and even us to help make that a reality. So know that the competition itself is really a great value regardless of the outcomes. And again, I just want to remind you all that you've really done a lot of the hard work already. Really getting this foundational support that you've already received from these various stakeholders is one of the most time-consuming parts of starting a campus kitchen. And now it really is just getting the logistics together and using this competition kind of as a springboard to do that. So with that, that's all I really have. And so if anyone has questions, I'd be happy to answer them and I'll stay on the line. But if not, I'll be sending this recording out soon, which you can pass along to others that weren't able to attend or revisit some of these things that we talked about today. So thank you again, and we'll look forward to talking with you soon and look forward to the competition starting on the 7th.